In today's climate, nothing will make you a more accurate or confident shooter than Crimson Trace laser sighting systems. Get the immediate, decisive advantage of the world's only grip-integrated laser sights today. Shoot better. Stay safer. Crimson Trace.
This is Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, now available on iTunes and other podcast clients, and on the free Gun Dealio smartphone app for iPhone and Android. Feel free to call Tom now at 1-TOM-TALK-GUN or 866-825-5486, or email tom@guntalk.com. Now, once again, here's Tom.
Well, howdy. I was actually watching TV last night and switching channels and went, oh, wait a minute. Hey, that's Guns and Gear. I had forgotten. It's starting to run on Sportsman Channel now. So if you have not seen Guns and Gear or Gun Talk, you can tune in. It's on Sportsman Channel, which is available on a lot, I would say most cable systems, and I think on both of the satellite delivery systems. So, yeah, check it out. We got a lot of cool stuff going on there. We have the one I like this week on Gun Talk. We did what we call the safe surprise, for lack of a better term. We basically invited people to suggest why a friend, a family member should get a free shooting lesson. And we had people submit names, and we selected somebody, and he was going to get a free shooting lesson, and we took him out and did that. What he didn't know, this was a National Guardsman who recently had lost a bunch of his buddies in a helicopter crash. What he didn't know is that while he was out there getting shooting lessons with rifles, pistols, all sorts of things, we were back at his house, with the help of his wife. We put a huge gun safe into his house while he was gone. And then we filled it full of stuff, like guns and ammo and things. We brought him back and did a big reveal on it. It was very cool. It was real special. His wife was a big part of it, and yeah, she cried. But we were all pretty excited about it. This is the fun stuff we get to do. One of the other fun things we get to do with our TV and video is we get to go make video and do stuff with some very interesting people. One of them is become a real good friend, longtime friend now. Rob Leatham, of course, many-time world champion, national champion shooter, joins us right now. Hello, Rob. How's things out in Arizona?
It's a little cold here, Tom. I just got back from the range, just shot a Bianchi practice match, and it was cleared down into the, get ready for this, 50s.
Oh, my heavens, please. Send out the Frostbite Patrol.
I almost wasn't even going to go.
Well, I'll tell you what you do. Go turn on the TV right now and watch people playing football, okay? And that'll warm you right up.
I think my service doesn't work well because there's this white stuff all over the place on the screen, and I can't.
That's right. It's just so confusing. Yeah, something's wrong with my TV again. Yeah,
exactly.
There you go. Okay, so we came out there and we did some videos with you guys, just partly because it's business and partly because it's fun and we like getting together. Try to explain to people what it's like when we get together and do this.
It can't be what they imagine it. I imagine people think that it's very organized and everybody gets together and there's a game plan that you follow and you have shot sheets and everything and it's very structured, and I can't imagine anything that is less like what we actually do. Because, I mean, done it enough times that going in what you're going in for on those things. And there's going to be a whole lot more goofing off than working, although I hope Chad's not listening to this. But the people we work for, we don't want them thinking we're goofing off. But it's what's happening.
Well, you know what? We end up with good video. We know part of it is. And to be fair, you've done this so many times, and I've done this so many times. We just got, we literally will stand there for like 2 minutes and say, what are we going to do? Well, we could do this. Okay, that sounds good. Let's go. And we turn on the cameras and do it.
Right. Once again, we've known each other for so long, and we've done this enough times. I think the part that people would be surprised is that most of that stuff, I wouldn't say ad-libbed is probably the right word, but it's not structured to the point where we're following a script. It's kind of, hey, will you guys talk about this for a while? And I'm like, I'll tell you, Tom, what do you want to do? And he'll say, well, here, let's go in with this. And that's kind of how it starts. Never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, what we get out of that is it's not scripted and it's not stilted. It's just two guys talking about guns, or when you and Steve are on, it's two guys shooting guns and talking about them. And you say, hey, I got this thing, and it's, I've got the new range officer. And oh, yeah, well, I've got the other thing. And then you're just talking about. And so we've done this series of videos, and it's kind of this, you guys are doing a rollout, like a new announcement every day or something now.
It's crazy. We got this thing going. We're calling it the 1950. And what that means is that we have 19 new variations and models that are coming out that we know of right now over the next year. And we're giving away 50 of them.
Whoa. Now, that's the thing. These are not just videos you go watch. When you go watch them, you have a chance each day to go register for a chance to win them.
Right, absolutely. You go watch those videos, you're going to see the guns that we're giving away. Now, they're not the actual ones, and I don't mean that, but that's the models we're giving away, and we're doing a whole bunch of that stuff right now.
Okay, and the website is 1950.springfield-armory.com for those who want to go take a look.
God, I'm glad you knew that.
I got you back, Jack.
You got my back on that because I would have not known that right or said that right.
Yeah, you're the one supposed to know this stuff. So it's 1950.springfield-armory.com. You got some new guns that I know we can talk at least about some of them. You've got an XDS in
40 caliber. That's
and 40 cal.
40 cal. That was the first gun. We're into the third day now of whatever many 10 days or something this thing lasts, leading right into the SHOT Show. And yesterday we did the XD Mod 2 subcompact in flat dark earth finish.
Right.
And today was the new stainless steel version of the Range Officers. So those are all new variations, new models, and there's so much going on. There's so much coming out. You just gotta have to go look and see it all. I can't keep track.
Yeah, and then while we were there, we also were shooting some new mega challenges and crazy stuff where you guys are you're running and shooting, and just to help you out, your teammates, your buddies are assisting you as you're shooting, right?
Right. Those, it's such a hard job we have. I mean, it is so difficult. We have to spend hours on the range shooting free ammo with our friends.
While they scream at you to try to get you. Oh, no, you missed one. Go back.
I don't think it was that. I think it was more of the yelling at you. You haven't hit any of them when you've hit them all, and you're going like, I missed. And then, it's, assist is a curious word. Assist you in your performance. I don't think a lot of that was happening on that one, but that is what makes it fun, boy.
But I didn't notice, not while you had the guns, but as you're moving toward the table with the guns, there was a little bit of shoving and pushing. It looked a little bit like pass interference to me.
Well, the funny part is when Kippy tries to push me, because I weigh 200.
Yeah, exactly. She's about half your weight, and she's trying to shove you, and nothing's happening.
Nothing's happening. What moves her, but I don't go anywhere.
Yeah. Kippy being Rob's wife, which, by the way, I'm going to tell you something. We were doing this video. She was nervous. She did not want to do this, right?
Every time.
Every time. I mean, she's so nervous, and she's just sweating this thing. And what am I going to do? And then you turn the camera on, and she is not just good, she is magnificent on camera. You know why? Because she's a really good firearms instructor.
Right. She's really comfortable about it. It's funny. She's not scared of being in front of the camera. She doesn't mind talking about it. She's very competent and confident of the issue she's going to talk about. But I'll tell you what you don't know is the week leading into what it's like around the house leading into a week when she has to do a piece like that. I think the way to do this next time is we don't even tell her she's going to do it. And she'll say, hey, we need you to come out and help lighting or talk to Sarah or something. I don't know. And they'd say, oh, hey, by the way, will you mic up? You're on now.
I'm going to let you tell her that. I'm not going to try that one.
No, I'm not going to tell her. That's the whole point is I can't possibly let her know what's coming because the week before the tension she feels is worse than when she was shooting the national level matches. She'd get like that before a match. She'd really get focused in it, and that's something I've never really done till I got to the range. And boy, it would sure make life around here. But her segments turned out great. She is a natural in front of the camera.
She is, and she's and people who may not know is that she's not only a good instructor, she is also national champion, national level shooter, and that helps a ton too. All right, I got to switch on. I got to ask you something because I know later on in the show today we're going to have Denise Bixler on, and you guys are doing this crazy class up at Gunsight. It's going to be you and is it Chris
White and Steve Tarani are the instructors.
Okay, I was trying to explain earlier. I said, obviously you're the handgun guy and you shoot great, and Chris White is, he is former Special Forces super duper guy with a carbine. And then you get to Steve, and I said, let me just tell you, the guy, you'll have nightmares about this guy.
Everybody
is that true?
Sees Steve immediately goes, oh my God, don't get on the wrong side of that guy. And once you talk to him, Steve is one of the most personable, nice, outgoing characters you've ever seen, right up until the moment I think he would choose to not be nice.
He's like the knife master ninja super guy. I mean, really, honestly, I've talked to a lot of military guys and cops, and they all, when you mention him, it's like their eyes all get real big.
Oh yeah, everybody, he's. I wouldn't say he's not the kind of guy that's very public about what he does, but what he does, he's better than anybody else in the world, and has been for some time. Very experienced. When we did a little some video segments for some promo for that event, and so Steve did some disarming segments, and on me, and I couldn't help but laugh. Because I've never in my life felt absolutely helpless like I was when Steve started working on me. I was sitting there like, wait, where's my gun? Okay, do that again.
How do you do that?
Do that again over and over. And it's you've never seen so much move so fast, so precisely before. It's impressive. It's like nothing I've ever seen.
So anyway, this is going to be a class. We'll talk about it later on, but it's going to be up at Gunsight. You can take a class with Chris, with Rob, and with Steve all in one class. It's going to be really something special.
Yeah, it's going to be
all right,
cool.
So we're going to be seeing you at SHOT Show. Springfield's got all these new crazy guns out. And you got to go to this website. Here's the thing on the website. You got to go there every day because there's a release every day, and you can enter every day. It's 1950.springfield-armory.com, right?
Right, that's correct. And there's like you just said, there's so much stuff coming out. You're going to have to go look every day to see what the next piece is and how to enter for the drawings.
Exactly. There you go. Rob, I will see you in just about a week, partner.
All right, man. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. You take care. See you later. Rob Leatham, world champion, national champion, everything champion, and just a fun guy to be around. Check it out. You'll get a kick out of some of these videos. As you can probably tell, we have a lot of fun when we get together, and it does come through on the videos. Again, that website is 1950.springfield-armory.com. All right, open now for your range reports. 866-TALK-GUN.
The XDM 3.8 Compact from Springfield Armory is 2 guns in 1. Use as your concealed carry gun with a compact magazine and use the extended magazine for home defense. Carry 13 rounds of 9mm in the compact magazine and a whopping 19 rounds in the extended magazine. To see the entire family of Springfield Armory XDM pistols, go to SpringfieldArmory.com. That's SpringfieldArmory.com.
For 36 years, the U.S. Sportsmen's Alliance has been fighting to protect hunting, fishing, and trapping for sportsmen from coast to coast. Today, we are under constant attack from extremist animal rights groups who want to end your ability to hunt in the U.S. Join us to protect our sporting heritage and our way of life outdoors. To join or for more information on how you can help, go to ussportsman.org. That's ussportsman.org.
You may be a new shooter, a longtime gun owner, or even a police officer or soldier. No personal defense handgun is fully equipped without a Crimson Trace laser sight or light. Get the confidence and reliability you need to protect family, home, and country. Call 800-442-2406 or visit crimsontrace.com for a free copy of our new laser training video, The Laser's Edge. Crimson Trace.
You're at a gun store and your phone tells you about hot deals. Want to know about special offers? No problem when you have Gun Dealio, the free app for your smartphone. Gun Dealio delivers the latest deals on guns, ammo, and extras direct to your phone. Don't overpay for your shooting gear. Get Gun Dealio. It's free at the App Store and Google Play. Trigger the deals with Gun Dealio. GunDealio.com.
It's time for the Brownells Trivia Question. Brownells, serious about firearms since 1939. Are you a gun know-it-all? Well, you may have a chance to win the Brownells GUNTALK FN SCAR 17S Dream Gun and a trip to the NRA show in Louisville, Kentucky, May 19th through the 22nd. Here we go. Which Supreme Court case incorporated the Second Amendment, meaning that it does apply to individual states, not just federal entities? U.S. versus Miller, Marbury versus Madison, McDonald versus City of Chicago. To answer and have a chance to win, go to brownells.com/guntalk. That's brownells.com/guntalk. When it comes to firearms, Brownells has more, knows more, and does more, and guarantees it all forever. Brownells is serious about firearms.
If you watched President Obama's town hall with Anderson Cooper functioning as his cheerleader and blocker, you saw a woman stand up. She was a rape victim. And she was basically saying that she wanted the ability to have a gun for protection. And then the anointed one, the arrogant one, condescendingly mocks her, gently, but mocks her, and basically says, well, of course, having a gun doesn't necessarily mean it's going to make you safer. I wonder what his advice would be if that were one of his daughters who had been raped and wanted to protect herself. We have 1 million new people buying guns a year. A third of them are women. A lot of them are young women who have decided they're going to protect themselves, provide their own protection. The arrogance of saying to someone who has agonized about this, who has thought about this a lot, who has reluctantly come to the position of, I will get a gun to protect myself because I realize there are many times when I am by myself and there is no one there who can protect me, and rapes and attacks happen very quickly, much more quickly than a police officer can get there. To tell these women, no, you need to make yourself more vulnerable so that we can feel good about our political agenda. You have to make yourself vulnerable to attack, to rape, to disfigurement, to murder, so that we can tell political parties and operatives that we have, quote unquote, done something. I wonder to what extent young women who analyze this will gravitate away from the Democrat Party and Hillary Clinton, who echoes, of course, exactly what Barack Obama says. And she's out there. You got to give her that. She's standing up and saying, not only would I go with what he's done, I'll go even further. Okay, got it. Understand. Check that box. Because you and your husband, of course, orchestrated the massive United States gun ban, banning the most popular rifles in America. It was only because of their arrogance, and you need to understand this from a historical perspective, the 1994 so-called assault weapons ban. Part of the provision of that was a 10-year sunset provision. After 10 years, this law would go away on its own unless it was voted back in. And what happened was, which was interesting, is Congress did not renew it. Congress let it die because the Democrats lost control of Congress. Here's where it gets very ironic. They lost control of Congress because they passed the assault weapons ban, the gun ban, the Clinton gun ban, cost them control of Congress. They included the sunset provision because they were so arrogant they thought, well, of course, we have had control of Congress for 40 years, and we will, of course, renew this in 10 years. Not a big deal. We'll throw this out there just as a sop to the conservatives, to the Republicans, knowing that we will certainly renew the gun ban. And then they lost the ability to do it. So Hillary Clinton was part of the great America gun ban experiment. She wants to bring it back. Barack Obama would like to bring it back, but he can't. It's been on his website for 7 years. You go to the whitehouse.gov website, look under crime. He wants to ban these rifles that are almost never used in crime. More people are killed with fists and feet than there are with rifles in the United States. FBI is the source on that. Wow. It's getting cold out there. Line 2, Justin wants to talk about shooting in the cold. Hey, Justin. Oh, Justin went away. Luke is now on line 2 out of Durango, Colorado. Let's go there. Hey, Luke.
Hey, how you doing? Look, I just want to say two things briefly. First, I think the reason some political types are so adamant about it taking our guns is because they are exactly who James Madison and Thomas Jefferson were trying to protect us against with the Second Amendment. They're not some, mythical beings that are going to exist sometime in the future. They're here now and they're in power. And people need to wake up and wrap their mind around it and decide what side of the fence they're going to be on.
It's an interesting point, Luke. The people in the White House right now are the very ones with this arrogance, this dismissive nature that he has, the mocking, it's the Saul Alinsky mocking technique. That's the kind of people you're talking about that we wrote the Second Amendment into the Constitution for, to say, if we get this and we have no other recourse, we're going to hold on to this one last stopgap doomsday measure. Now, I'm not saying we're at the doomsday point, but to Luke's point, it is at least worth considering that these are the very people for whom the Second Amendment was written, at least keeping them in mind.
Broadcasting nationwide, you're listening to Gun Talk. And now, back to Tom.
The president, his town hall, show and tell. Anderson Cooper, orchestrated to the last piece. Condescending? Just a little bit. Arrogant? Always. Mocking? Certainly. It's the whole dismissive attitude. You have to marginalize Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals. Marginalize the opposition. Make them seem like they are small and it's insignificant and almost, not even almost, they are, in fact, laughable. And so that's where he is. We are, to the president, we are laughable. We are laughably insignificant, small, out of touch, out of step. We have a fantasy about using guns for self-protection. We don't have, we don't have a Secret Service protecting us the way you do, or protecting your daughters. We got to do what we got to do. We have to figure out how to take care of ourselves and our families. Okay? All right, let's go to line 2. Robert is with us out of Arkansas. Hey, Robert.
Hey, good afternoon. We're in the ice box down here this morning. It's quite chilly. I just find it ironic that our listeners are not paying attention to repeating history. The Democrats a couple decades ago did the same thing, and we ended up with over 250,000 licensed dealers, and they had an issue because they couldn't enforce the rules and inspections on those dealers, so they changed the law back to what it was. to get down to the 23,000 and change we have now. But now we're going to change it again and put another $250,000 licensed dealers out there again, which didn't work the first time.
I want to make sure that people understand what you're saying. Look, here's the thing. We had about 250,000 people that had federal firearms license, FFLs. A lot of people who were basically had it so that they could transfer guns out of their kitchen, that type of thing. Then Bill Clinton comes along and says, we can't have 250,000 gun owners in the country. So he cuts it down to 10%. He raised the price of getting the license, required all sorts of investigations on anybody that wants to get an FFL, blah, blah, blah. Now Obama comes along and says, well, you know what? If you're just a hobbyist and you want to sell guns, you're going to have to get a federal firearms license. So we're going to go right back up to those numbers, which goes back to the whole thing of they will never tell us what the real requirements are for being in the business. Their thing is just try it and we'll arrest you when we think you've gone too far. But we're not going to tell you what the actual rules are. Is one gun? Is it 2 guns? Is it 10 guns? Is it 100 guns? It might be 2, might be 100. We don't know really.
Nobody's put it in writing yet what this executive action is, depending on what you want to call it. And then we've got our elected representatives, and here's where I've got personal heartburn. The executive authority, the president, is there at the whim of Congress. Congress could change this with one vote, and the president cannot veto it. They need to look at the Constitution.
Well, I just had Steve Scalise on. He is the majority whip, and he said Congress is working on this, and they're going to be taking whatever actions they can take. We'll see. I will have to and look, thank you for the call. I appreciate that. I will tell you, how do I say this? I have been less than impressed with the Republican leadership. No, let's say it a different way. They suck. They're awful. They're bad on guns. They're just not as bad on guns as the Democrats. They fold like a house of cards whenever they're pushed. They take us for granted. They don't really care. They make all this noise. And they have not really done us a lot of favors, truth be told. So, looking to Congress, while it may be one of the avenues we have, and sometimes we can get a few things done there, I don't put a lot of faith in the Republican Party as a party. And I guess there must be an awful lot of people who feel the same way I do, because can there be any other explanation for Donald Trump? When you look at him and say, as a lot of us have, you look at him and go, yeah, he's pretty weird and whacked out and a little bit nutso, and I don't think I'd like to have him at my house. But you know what he's got going for him? He's not them. It's really simple. He's not this Republican Party. And that by itself may be enough. So where did we go from that? I don't know. When you look at this election coming up, where do you go with all of this? What are you thinking? What are you thinking? What are we going to do? Do you support Donald Trump? Or, do you really like the guy and what he's doing? Yes, it was. Or are you just supporting him, or do you like him because he's not the Republicans? He's not part of the Republican Party. And if that's the case, boy, do I ever get it. I understand exactly what you're talking about. 866-TALK-GUN. Be right back.
A great rifle and scope won't do you any good if your mount fails. Whether it's for hunting, competition, or tactical use, Warren has a rugged, reliable scope mount for you. Warren scope mounts are the choice of top competitors and professional hunters alike. American-made quality and performance you can count on. Visit your local dealer or go to warnscopemounts.com. WARNE scopemounts.com. Set your sights on Warren.
The .45 Auto, also known as the 1911, is the standard other defensive pistols are measured against. No matter what pistol you carry, techniques developed around the 1911 are vital. You know you need training, and you know your concealed carry class definitely was not training. Now GUNTALK presents an exciting DVD, Fighting with the 1911 with Tiger McKee. Tiger's unique training style will have you drawing, moving, shooting, and running your gun better, no matter what style pistol you prefer. At shopguntalk.com, you can order our DVDs of Tiger's instruction. ShopGuntalk.com also has a 2-DVD set, including Concealed Carry 1. Get both for the information you know you need. This really is life and death. ShopGuntalk.com has DVDs, books, and other essential gear. ShopGuntalk.com. That's ShopGuntalk.com.
Your guns are hungry, really hungry. They crave lead. They feast on recoil. They were born with a gluttonous appetite for speed and accuracy. Centerfire, rimfire, shotguns. They all need to eat. Let the feeding frenzy begin. Aguila Ammunition. Feed your firearm.
What makes a legacy? Is it quality? Craftsmanship? Maybe it's the idea that every American deserves their right to security and peace of mind on and off the battlefield. What makes a legacy? Here at Colt, we're making it every day. Colt, built one at a time, proven every round.
We are back with the 866 Talk Gun gets you in here. I'm Tom Gresham, in case you just stumbled in here and go, what is this? Well, we talk about guns because the show is called Gun Talk. We also have TV shows called Gun Talk and Guns and Gear, and also on the web on YouTube. If you go over there, you'll see our TV series called First Person Defender, where we take regular people and throw them into the middle of a self-defense situation. Basically, we attack them in some form or fashion. It may be a push-in attack in a hotel room, might be an ATM robbery, it could be a carjacking, could be a fight that breaks out in a store where you are. Never know what's going to happen on First Person Defender. Lots of things going on there. So you just go to YouTube and look for First Person Defender, and you'll see lots and lots of videos that we have over there. Again, our number here, 866-TALK-GUN, if you want to be a part of the show. Right now, Justin has joined us on line 1 out of Granite City, Illinois. Hey, Justin.
Hey, Tom, how's it going?
Good. Just cold weather, huh?
Oh, yes, definitely. I was out on the firing line about a week or two ago. The first cold snap we really had here in Mid-South Illinois. And, one thing I was thinking of is people, from what I've noticed just at the gun club, people stop shooting when it gets cold. And you need to not do that, because not every situation is going to happen when it's 75 and sunny. And people need to train with gloves on and with the jacket on. Or, right now, I'm in Alton, Illinois right now, it is 15 degrees outside, and I've got 3 layers on to get to my gun. So, people, even if you're not outside drawing, you can still do it in your living room with all your layers on.
It's a great point. And when you do that, please do it with an unloaded gun to work out your system. But I am reminded of a class, Thunder Ranch class, where my wife, my son, and daughter-in-law were all there. And as they always say, look, weather's going to do what it's going to do, and we're going to do what we're going to do. We train. I don't care if it's raining. I don't care if it's snowing. I don't care if it's sleeting. I don't care what it's doing. We're going to train. We're going to be out here shooting. And ice was forming all over the shooters. I'm talking about sleet and freezing rain, and they are encrusted in ice. And they're still drawing, and they're still shooting, and they're still flopping on the hard ground, and they're still moving to cover, and they're still clearing malfunctions and doing the rest of it because, as they say, I don't know what the weather's going to be when you get attacked. It might be good if you thought about this and had practiced in this kind of weather.
I definitely learned a lot because... No, I'm sorry?
No, go ahead.
No, it just... because, even if you get, if your jacket's broken in versus it being new, or if, you're getting heavy winds, if it's raining, I make sure I try and go. if you really can't, if you get a new pair of gloves, sometimes, once you start wearing gloves, if you no longer wear gloves, start shooting with them. Practice your clearing. You ain't got to load your magazines with them, with them on, but, you want to try and, can you feel your slide release? Can you feel your thumb safety? Can you release the cylinder on your revolver? Can you function that speed loader? Can you pop open your pouch to get to it?
Can you work your gear with the clothes that you're wearing, all that? And look, it's a great point. I appreciate the call, sir. One thing I want to throw out here, though, when you're doing this stuff, please, please, please be careful. Remember our basic rule, whether it's cold or whether it's hot. If you're drawing or handling your gun or whatever and it starts to slip out of your hand, don't catch it. Let it go. Let it hit the floor, let it hit the ground, let it hit the concrete, let it hit the gravel. I don't care what's below you, let it hit it. It's not going to go off. If you grab for your gun because it slips out of your hands, there's a decent chance you're going to find the trigger and pull it. And you know what happens when you pull the trigger on a gun? It does exactly what you told it to do. It'll go off. So we work on this in the summer when we've got sweaty hands and just tell people, look, if you draw and it comes out of your hands, just let it go. Because everybody wants to grab it. And we've done this test over and over again with a blue gun and said, basically just drop your gun and then try to grab it. And it's amazing how many times the barrel will be pointed at you, some part of you, and your hand or your thumb will engage the trigger. So just a little cold weather safety brief for you, okay? Line 3, Chuck is in Texas. Hey, Chuck, we got time to get you in here.
Hello, Tom. It's hard to believe that we could be called a bunch of paranoids when we're listening to the ricochets all around us. I guess he thinks those are mosquitoes. We have got a problem with this background check nonsense. The only thing it's going to really do is come up with anything that a long-time resident has ever done. All these illegal aliens and all these Syrian refugees don't have a background to check. We had a judge rule recently that illegal aliens, a.k.a. undocumented immigrants, have a right to possess firearms. This background check is not going to do a thing to catch them. It's just going to tie up those of us who are long-term residents who have a lifetime record of history. Another thing, one of our local wizards on the not NFL, on the trust. What he was telling us the other day was that they've relaxed the restrictions on individuals. All you've got to do is get the Clio to acknowledge. He doesn't have to approve. But what they've done is, on the trust, they now require, or Obama wants to require, every member of that trust to be fingerprinted and go through the background checks and everything else.
No, that's not correct. It's not every member of the trust. It's one member of the trust. So that's the deal. It's one member of the trust will have to submit fingerprints and photograph. So which goes to another point. There's a ton of misinformation. This stuff is available on the internet. And you know how you can find it? If you were following me on Twitter, I put this information out a week ago with the links to the actual documents so you wouldn't have to listen to people saying, oh, well, I heard that it does this. And you can say, no, actually it does this because I've read the actual document. I've been to whitehouse.gov. I've been to the ATF website. Tom gave me the documents. People say, well, I don't do Twitter. I don't care. Don't do Twitter for anything else. Just sign up for Twitter and follow me. I'm at GUNTALK there. You will get a news feed from me. You will have links like this, and you will end up being the smartest person in the room when it comes to guns and gun rights and this information, because you're going to get it from me with the links to the actual sources. You'll know what you're talking about. Trust me. Sign up. Follow me on Twitter.
In providing you with a quality product. At Crossbreed Holsters, we live and breathe concealed carry. We make and sell products that we believe in and products that our customers love. To see more, go to crossbreedholsters.com. That's crossbreedholsters.com.
Alien Gear Holsters, the most comfortable and concealable holsters on the planet, is offering big savings with our new 2-holster combo. Now you can buy 2 complete holsters for as little as $49.88. Choose from any available holster styles and colors for the guns of your choice. All of Alien Gear's quality products are made right here in the USA and include a 30-day trial, forever warranty, and free shell trades for life. Visit aliengearholsters.com today.
All right, I get this from Jim. Says, hey, I'm in New Jersey. Says, Chris Christie has done nothing to help gun owners here. Nothing. I cannot vote for him, and I supported him for governor. Yeah, I know. He's keeps talking about how, well, I knew I was against guns then, but now I'm for guns because I've learned a lot. Is what he learned is that you can't get elected as a Republican if you're anti-gun like you have been? Unless you're in New Jersey. Maybe that's what he learned. I don't know. Hey, do you see this, Obama? He has threatened all Democrat politicians. He says, I will not campaign for, vote for, or support any candidate, even in my own party, who does not support common sense gun reform. In other words, you want the help of the sitting president? You're running for re-election? Not going to get it unless you sign on to my gun restrictions. Yeah, I guess probably not a real surprise there. Kind of the same old. Do it my way. I know better. I am smarter. But then he keeps, and this is where I get frustrated. He keeps making these statements that are demonstrably untrue, and the media won't call him on it. He talks about gun show loophole. Surely Anderson Cooper can look that up. He talks about the epidemic of gun violence. Surely Anderson Cooper could say, well, Mr. President, according to your own agency's figures, murders are down by half in 20 years. Gun murders are down by half. And non-fatal gun assaults or gun crime is down by 75%. So, Mr. President, how is it with these huge reductions in crime and gun crime, how can you continue to say it's an epidemic of gun violence? And then, of course, he says, well, of course, we have shootings all the time in Chicago. I'm going, wait. I'm waving my hand. You mean the Chicago that has all the gun control laws that you want to put in for the rest of the country? That's our shining example? Part of what they have done, or he has done with his executive actions, is to say, we're going to spend a lot of money for research on smart guns. Yeah, ask California about that, because every month, more guns come off the list of approved handguns in California, because now a gun on the roster, the approved list, if to put a gun on there, it must have microstamping. Well, microstamping doesn't exist, not real world. It's not a technology that gun companies can do. So it's an impossibility. It's a unicorn. And I gather that after 5 years of being on the list, a gun comes off the list. So at a certain point, all the guns are going to come off the list and no guns come on the list. So there will be no handguns available for sale at gun stores in California. So here's my thought on smart guns. If this is such a great idea, what we should do is write it into the law as part of the process of making sure they're safe and effective. When smart guns get to a point where the government says, okay, now they're ready for prime time, we will require the Secret Service to use exclusively smart guns for a 3-year test period. 3 years. Did you ever notice that all the smart gun legislation that is written always exempts the police? Why is that? Because they know it doesn't work. Because it's a parachute. A self-defense handgun is a parachute. This is what saves your life when everything else has failed. Oh, wait a minute. I got to reboot. I got to replace the battery. Oh, darn. It's getting jammed from outside radio interference. You like it so much? Require the Secret Service to carry smart guns for 3 years. Not going to happen. When we come back, we're going to tell you about a class that may be a once-in-a-lifetime